Close your eyes for a second. Picture your life. The place you sleep in, the car you drive, the phone in your hand, the music playing in your ears right now. All of it feels like yours, earned, real, stable. Now ask yourself one question and really sit with it. If your income stopped tomorrow, what would actually still be yours? Not what you're paying for, not what you have access to, not what you're borrowing time on. What would still be yours? Most people never ask this, not because they don't care, because somewhere deep down, they already sense the answer. And the answer is uncomfortable. This is not a video about being poor. This is not about bad decisions. This is not a lecture. This is quieter than that. This is about a system most people are living inside, without ever realizing they never chose it. They were born into it, grew up inside it, and one day woke up maintaining it without knowing how to exit. This is the story of Orven, and it might be yours too. Orven is 36. Good job. Stable income, an apartment with his name on the mortgage, a car in the garage, subscriptions running in the background, a life, assembled piece by piece, that from the outside looks exactly like success. He's not reckless. He's not lazy. He doesn't make dramatic mistakes. He shows up. He pays his bills. He does what was expected of him. And then, a little more. But there's this feeling. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't have a name. It's not depression. It's not anxiety. Not quite. It's a low hum. It shows up on the 25th of every month when he opens his banking app and watches the numbers rearrange themselves. It shows up in traffic, gripping the steering wheel, running the same quiet calculation. It shows up whenever someone mentions layoffs at another company, and his chest does that thing, that small, involuntary tightening. He dismisses it, tells himself it's normal. Everyone feels this. He's doing fine. And technically, he is. That's the part that makes it so hard to see clearly. He's not struggling. He's not behind on anything. He's not the cautionary tale. He is, by every visible measure, a success story. The hum is quiet, easy to ignore, but it never stops. Orven bought his apartment 4 years ago for $320,000. He was proud. He threw a small housewarming. He hung pictures. He bought furniture he actually liked. He felt like an adult, like he'd arrived somewhere real. But let's look at what he actually signed that day. He put down $32,000, 10%. The rest, $288,000, went onto a 30-year mortgage at 6.8% interest. By the time Orven makes his last payment at age 66, he will have paid approximately $680,000 for a $320,000 apartment. $360,000 in interest, more than the original price, paid directly to the bank for the privilege of borrowing. And during those 30 years, he cannot stop. He cannot pause. He cannot say, I need a few months. Miss enough payments, and the process begins. Notices, legal proceedings, foreclosure. The home he lives in, calls his, painted the walls of, can be taken, legally, methodically, without hesitation. People say, but real estate appreciates. And sometimes it does. But during those 30 years, Orven also pays property taxes every year, home insurance, repairs, the roof, the water heater, the pipes, the things that break because things always break. These add tens of thousands more to the real cost of ownership. Here is a sentence no one said when Orven signed. You don't own the house owns you. A mortgage is not ownership. It is a 30-year contract that says, keep paying or lose everything you've put in, every single month, without exception, for 3 decades. That's not freedom. That's the longest subscription you'll ever sign up for. Now let's talk about the small things, the ones Orven barely thinks about. Music platform, $11. Video platform, $15. A second video platform because his favorite show moved, $13. Cloud storage, $10. Fitness app, $12. A new subscription he opened during an election year and forgot to cancel, $8. Meal delivery, roughly $60 a month. A software subscription for a hobby he picked up one slow winter, $14. Phone plan, $55. Home internet, $70. Total, around $268 a month, $3,216 a year, $32,000 over a decade. And that's before price increases, which come quietly, announced in an email most people don't read. Now here is what Orven actually owns from that list. Nothing. Stop the music payment, the music stops. Stop the cloud storage, the files lock. Stop the video platform, the library disappears. Cancel the fitness app, the history, the progress, the streaks, gone. He doesn't buy things anymore. He rents experiences of things. And this is the quiet genius of the subscription economy. It doesn't feel like renting. It feels like living. It feels like having. Every service is designed to feel like possession, until the card on file expires, and in that moment, the illusion drops. He has access. Conditional, temporary, revocable access. That is not ownership. That is the most normalized form of financial dependency ever invented. And it runs in the background of his life, invisible, every single month. Orven financed his car 2 years ago, $42,000, $5,000 down, $37,000 on a 60-month loan at 7.4%. Monthly payment, $740, for 5 years. Total paid by the end, roughly $54,400, for a car that will be worth, at best, $20,000 when it's paid off. He will spend $54,000 to end up holding something worth $20,000. Add insurance, maintenance, fuel, registration fees, tires, the unexpected things, the brakes that go, the sensor that trips, the windshield that cracks on a highway in November. All in, over 5 years, the real cost of that car is likely close to $70,000, and it is worth $20,000. He is not building equity. He is funding depreciation. Every payment moves money from his account into something that is simultaneously losing value. He is paying more as it becomes worth less. Month after month in the same direction. Now, he needs a car. That's real. But he chose the nicest one the bank would loan him money for. Because that's how it works. The question was never, can you actually afford this? The question was, can you qualify for the payment? Those are different questions. One of them is designed to protect the bank. The other one, the one that would have protected Orven, nobody asked. 6:47 a.m. Orven's alarm goes off. He gets up, same as yesterday, same as the day before. He makes coffee without really tasting it, gets in the car, the $70,000 car, and drives to the same building, the same desk, the same inbox full of the same kind of emails. He is good at his job, that part is true. But let's watch what happens when the paycheck arrives. Take-home income, monthly, $5,100. Mortgage, $1,920. Car loan, $740. Car insurance, $190. Home insurance, $120. Property taxes, monthly average, $280. Utilities, $180. Internet and phone, $125. Groceries, $380. Subscriptions, $268. Gas, $140. Food and daily life, $300. Retirement contribution, $200. Total out, $4,843. Left over? $257. $257 after 7 years at the company, after raises and good reviews and promotions and doing everything right. After a full month of selling his time, his actual, irretrievable time, $257 stays. The rest didn't disappear, it just moved. To the bank, to the lender, to the platforms, to the systems that needed to be fed so they wouldn't come apart. He didn't spend it, he maintained the structure. Now look at his savings. $14,000, built slowly, carefully, across years. Divide $14,000 by his monthly expenses. That's less than 3 months. 3 months. That's the gap between his life and its collapse. Not because of carelessness, not because of irresponsibility, because every dollar he earns has a destination before it arrives, and none of those destinations are him. The job isn't his career. The job is the machine that keeps everything else from shutting down. And here's what nobody tells you about that machine. It only takes one Tuesday to turn it off. Here is the shape of Orven's life. Earn, pay. Earn, pay. Every month, the same motion. Every year, a slight variation. A small raise, a price increase, an unexpected repair, a vacation he needed because the loop had become too exhausting not to briefly break. But the loop continues. Let's zoom out. 10 years. Over 10 years, Orven will earn somewhere around $850,000 gross. After taxes, roughly $637,500 in take-home pay. Of that, fixed obligations consume approximately $460,000. Variable spending, food, transportation, life, takes another $110,000 to $130,000. At the end of 10 years, if nothing goes wrong, Orven has saved $40,000 to $70,000. He earned $850,000. He kept less than 10% of it. The rest went to maintaining the life he was already living. Not building something new, not creating anything that would exist without him, not moving toward anything he could call free. Just maintaining. He ran for 10 years. He is almost exactly where he started. Here's what I want to say before we go further. Orven did not do anything unusual. He followed the sequence that was laid out for him. Graduate, get a job, get a car, get a home, build a life, maintain it. He did what was called success. And in many ways, by the measurements society uses, he is successful. He has things. He has stability. He has the markers. He can photograph it and share it, and it looks real and full. The problem is not Orven. The problem is that the system he inherited was not designed to create freedom. It was designed to create permanent, uninterrupted, self-sustaining consumption. Every product, every loan structure, every subscription model, every lifestyle expectation pulling in one direction. Spend, pay, repeat. And no one sat down with Orven at 22 and said, "Here is what you are actually agreeing to. Here is where the money goes. Here is how long before any of this is truly yours. Here is what happens if one thing breaks." No one said that. They just handed him the pen. It's a Tuesday in October. Orven's manager calls him into a room. 2 people from HR are already there. The company is restructuring. His role is being eliminated. Effective in 2 weeks. 4 weeks of severance. 7 years of service. They thank him. He walks back to his desk. He sits down. He doesn't immediately open his laptop. He just sits. For a moment, the office keeps going around him. Keyboards, conversations, the hum of the ventilation system. And Orven is perfectly still in the middle of it. He opens his banking app. $14,000. He does the math in his head. The same math he's been half doing for years without finishing. Monthly expenses? $4,843. Plus severance, maybe $1,700 after tax. Total runway? Just over 3 months. 3 months. 7 years of work. 3 months of runway. He closes the app. He stares at his monitor. He thinks, it'll be fine. I'll find something. People find things. Month 1. He applies. He networks. He rewrites his resume. He goes to 3 interviews. He makes every payment. He cancels the meal delivery, the fitness app, the news subscription. He notices how quickly the small cuts shrink his life. How suddenly, certain things that felt permanent reveal themselves as optional the moment money becomes real. He tells himself it's fine. He almost believes it. Month 2. 2 more interviews. No offers. He makes his mortgage payment. Barely. He defers his retirement contribution. He starts checking his account not once a day, but 4, 5 times. He doesn't know why. The number isn't going to change between checks, but he checks anyway. At night, lying in bed, he runs the math again. Finds a different result each time, even though the inputs haven't changed. Sleep becomes shallow. There is a specific kind of fear that doesn't announce itself as fear. It just changes the texture of everything. Food tastes slightly off. Music sounds like it's coming from a room away. He laughs at things at the right moments, but isn't sure he's actually feeling them. This is that fear. Month 3. His account reads $4,200. He has a final round interview at a company he actually wants to work for. He prepares carefully. He sleeps 4 hours the night before. The interview goes well. He thinks it goes well. He drives home and realizes he's been clenching his jaw for 3 hours. His mortgage is due. He pays it. $2,200 left. Car payment due in 11 days. He pays it. $1,100 left. He gets the email 3 days later. We've decided to move forward with another candidate who more closely matches our current needs. Standard language. Impersonal. It took them 6 weeks to send it. He reads it twice, then puts his phone face down on the table. He sits in his apartment. The apartment that is not his, that belongs to a bank that doesn't know his name, that will continue to send invoices regardless of what he is feeling right now. And he sits with it. $1,100. Everything he built. Everything he paid for. Everything that was supposed to be his. Resting on $1,100 and whatever comes next. And here is the thing that is hardest to explain to someone who hasn't been there. The apartment doesn't feel different. The car is still in the garage. The subscriptions he hasn't canceled yet are still running. His name is still on the mortgage. Nothing looks broken. Everything is already breaking. He finds a job at the start of month 4. He makes it. Barely. The story resolves, the way many of these stories resolve, with relief that lands like exhaustion rather than joy. But something shifted in those months that won't shift back, because he saw it clearly. For the first time, without the noise of the hum covering it. The apartment. A 3-decade obligation to a bank that holds the real claim. The car. A depreciating object he's been overpaying for since the day he drove it off the lot. The subscriptions. A library that evaporates the moment payment stops. The job. Not security. Not identity. Infrastructure. The single switch that powers everything else. He didn't have assets. He had obligations dressed in the language of ownership. A home that required 30 years of continuous payment. A car that lost value faster than he paid it down. A digital life that existed only under contract. A savings account that gave him 90 days. This is not a collection of things. This is a very sophisticated, very comfortable, very normalized trap. And the most disturbing part is not that it exists. The most disturbing part is how good it looks from the inside. How solid it feels. How real. How earned. Right up until the Tuesday in October when the room has 2 people from HR already in it. Real ownership is simple. It is whatever remains yours when the payment stops. A skill lives in your body. You don't subscribe to it. You don't make monthly payments on it. No one can repossess it. Time can dull it, but it cannot be taken. A debt-free asset, land, property with no mortgage, a small business generating income, exists whether or not you showed up to work this month. Creative work, intellectual property, an audience, a catalog, things that produce value without requiring you to physically exchange hours for dollars. These behave differently when the income stops, not because they're morally superior, because they're structurally different. They don't require a continuous payment to remain yours. Most people confuse having things with owning things. Having a house on a mortgage means you live in the bank's asset while slowly purchasing it over 3 decades. Having a car on a loan means you operate a depreciating machine on borrowed money. Having a subscription library means you're renting culture by the month. None of that is ownership. All of it is access. And access, by definition, can be revoked. A life built entirely on access, with no assets that survive without continuous payment, is not stable. It is suspended, held in place by the continued function of one thing. And one thing can always stop. Orven is back at his desk now. New job, same loop. Payments current, hum restored. But the math he did in those 4 months, he can't undo it. It's in him now, the way certain things become permanent once you've looked at them directly. He doesn't have answers yet. He's not free. He didn't find a shortcut. But he has the question, the real one, the one that changes the shape of every decision going forward. What would it take to build something that stays mine? Not owned after 30 years, not accessible as long as I pay, not mine if the company doesn't restructure again. Actually mine. Durably mine. Mine without conditions. He doesn't know yet. Most people don't know yet when they first ask it. But there's a difference between a person who has never asked the question and a person who is sitting with it, uncomfortably, refusing to let it go. And that difference, quiet as it is where something else begins. So here is where I leave you. Look at your life. Not the version you post, not the version you describe when someone asks how things are going. The real version. The one with the numbers in it. Your home, your car, your phone, your subscriptions, your salary, your savings. Now ask the question Orven couldn't ask until everything almost fell apart. What survives if the income stops? What is genuinely, unconditionally, durably yours? Not what you're paying for. What do you own? Most people will close this video and return to the hum. They'll make their payments. They'll maintain the system. They'll tell themselves it's fine, that everyone does this, that the feeling is normal. And they'll be right, in a way. It is normal. That's the problem. If your income stopped tomorrow, what would still be yours?